Hi everyone. So in this video, we're going to see operators in C++, right? So let's move forward, right? So operators are used in C++ programs to form an expression, right? C++ has different operators and which includes obviously all the C language operators, and it has introduced some new operators as well. So basically there are three categories of operators in C++. The first category is binary operator. The second is unary. The first category is obviously unary operator. The second is binary, and the third is ternary operator. So let's jump to unary. The unary operators are the single operators which only require only one operand, right? For example, the increment operand and the decrement operator. The increment operator is, for example, there is an integer a. So like a plus plus, which means a is equal to a plus 1, right? And decrement operator similarly means, let's say a is equal to a minus 1, right? So we can write a plus plus or a minus minus. So these are the unary operators. Since this plus plus, this requires only one operand, so that's why these are called the unary operators. Now let's jump to binary operators. Binary operators require two or more operands, not more, only two operands, right? So for example, plus, minus, divide or multiply. I don't think you need any explanation for this. We regularly use these type of operators in mathematics, right? In basic arithmetic. Let's jump to ternary operators. C++ has only one ternary operator. As the name suggests, ternary operators operates on three operands, right? On maximum three operands. The operator is basically this, right? And this is basically a substitute for if else statement. If you have, now if you don't know if else, don't worry about it. We'll see if else in detail, and if you have already studied if else, then it's great. All right, so what does this statement mean? It means that if a, let's see, after question mark, it means that if a is greater than b, then return a. For example, basically if this statement is true, then return this, else return this statement. Return this statement upon true and return this statement upon false. So that is the meaning of ternary operator, right? Now there are different kinds of operators in C++: arithmetic, logical, comparison, assignment, bitwise, scope resolution operator, line feed operator, and field width operator. These two operators are basically covered, I guess, in single slide, maybe. Okay. So the arithmetic operators are basically are mostly means plus, minus, divide or multiply, right? So these kind of operators I guess don't need any explanation. The second operator is logical operator, like logical and or. For example, now you haven't studied these statements, or basically if these operators can be used to combine two different expressions. Now for example, if I would say a is greater than b, or I would say a is equal to b, right? So if any of these two if statements, then this is the meaning of or. If this statement is true or this statement, this is the meaning or, right? If I write a pseudocode here, a is greater than b, or a is equal to b, right? So if any of these two is true, instead of or here in programming, we use this, right? So that is the logical meaning. If you want both, then we put and. If you want not, then we put and here, right? Whatever it is. So that's the logical meaning of logical operators. Now we have comparison operators. I guess we all know about comparison operators. For example, a is greater than b, right? These comparison operators are used very much in high school or even junior or even primary school, whatever it is, right? So it's if a is greater than b, a is equal to b, whatever it is. right? So let's move forward. Yeah, one more thing in C++, if you want to check something if A is equal to B or not, so it is double equal to, right? So here should be double equal to, right? So that's what, because single equal to is an assignment operator and we have to use double equal to if A is equal to B or not. So we use double equal to. If A is equal to B, it's an assignment operator. It will copy the value of B to A, right? Now assignment operator. Now assignment operator is basically assigning the value from one variable to another, or basically assigning a value to one variable. For example, in this example, A is equal to B means the value of value 2 is being assigned to A. Now in the memory, it will be as 2. Alright. Now it is bitwise operator. Bitwise operators are actually important and will have exponential effect on the number. Now for example, f is x will move to left hand side three bits. Now what we will do is, let's say x is equal to 10. Now what is the value of 10 bitwise? The value of 10 is 1010. Since computers thinks bitwise, right? So we are directly involving with the bits. Now what this statement is saying, shift the bits left hand side three bits. Okay, for example, let's say it is, now if we shift this part, right, just a minute dear, let me change the marker. Yeah, if we change this thing 3 step backwards, what will happen is it will become 1010, and after that it will be 0 0 and 0. All right, now what will happen, this x was 10. Now what will it be? It's 0 1 2 3 4 5 6. So it's 2 raised to power 6 plus 2 raised to power 4. 2 raised to power 6 I guess is 64, and 2 raised to power 4 is 16. So it's 80, right? So once you shifted 3 bits position to left, the value of 10 became 80, right? I guess you can compare how much effect it is, right? You can compare the 10 to 80. Let's see the scope resolution operator. Now C++, we should know that C++ is a block structured language, which means that there are blocks like this, right? So for example, you declared a variable in the main function, right? You write int main and you declare some variables there, for example int x. Now that int x, the variable x, will not be accessed out of the main function, right? So you also declared a variable outside of the main function, and if you don't know you can do that, I guess you, and I'm telling you, you can, right? So you can declare the variable outside of the x. Now you have two x, the variable global and there is variable local. So if in the int main function, now this value of x is 10, right? And this value of x is approximately 20. Now what if you want to access this global x? You would do is you will use this and use x, right? And that will pull the global value. Let's see in this example. In the coming example, there is a var 6. There's a global version and there is a variable var in the int main, and it has limited scope, local scope. So if you take var as var, right, it will print 8. Obviously this is the limited scope, and here it will print the local scope. Now let's come to the what it has done. It has used scope resolution operator. This scope resolution, right, it will pull the global scope, the variable, the global version of the variable, you can say. Now let's jump to the line feed and the field width operator. All right. Now line feed operator is basically E and line. These are basically operators to manipulate the output format, right? So for example, you have already seen, I guess, end line and set width. You don't know set width, I guess, but in this course we have used end line many times, or we'll be using end line many times, because end line is similar to new line. In C, I guess you used this, right? This is the new line in C. But in C++, you can use this also, but you can use end line as well, right? Now, there is also an operator called set width. Since this new line causes uh, basically the output will be in the next line. Now, the set width means you can set a different basically width. For example, you print it, it's like cout some variable anyway, cout 26, right? After that set width 5, right? And then you cout 26. So it will take 26 and 26 like this. The output will be shown like this. There will be a space of 5 characters. There will be a space of 5 empty characters, 5 space characters, right? So that's what set width do. It sets the width. You can see that. So that's the operators. Let's try to do some programming and get some hands on. Let's get our hands dirty, right? So I don't think we need to discuss binary operators. Let's discuss unity operators first. For example, there is int num which is equal to 1, right? Now let's say num plus plus, and after that print num. It is the number before increment. It will be num. By the way, if you don't know, we can use multiple outputs in C++ to output a string followed by a variable followed by this end line, right? So it is a string. Now if you want another type of data type here, use this operator, right? This is not the bitwise operator. It is something else. If we are using with cout, it's something else. We'll see later in this. Later, I guess it's maybe I guess I will confuse you maybe, but it's operator overloading. These are overloaded operators with cout. Anyway, if you are using with cout or cin, these things have different meanings. So if you want to include strings or after that variable and after that some operators, you can use this as a separator, right? Means I want to output this and after that I want to output this, then you have to separate it with this, right? Anyway, number before increment is num and number after incrementing is yeah, number before increment is 1 and after increment it's 2. Now it means that it increases the number by 1. What if it decreases? From 1 it came to 0. So that's what the unary operator is. It's also called increment and decrement operator. Let's say ternary operator, right? Now let's do the ternary operator. Let's save this program. Unary operator. Right. So instead of unary, let's come to ternary operator. Let's say we have two variables, a which is 1 and B. Now if A is greater than B, then give A, or if A is not greater than B, print B. We basically were printing the greatest number out of A and B. Alright, it's 1. Now if I put B as 10, what will happen is it should print 10. Alright, so that's what it's just this is basically an operator which returns the maximum number, which returns A, because now here A is not greater than B, this statement is false, so it will return B. Alright, so yeah, so let's jump to different types of operators. Arithmetic operator, logical operator. Right, logical operator, I guess we will see logical operators is in if else statement. Right, basically it's like if this statement is true or not. Logical operators we'll see later, and it's the comparison operator. All right, we'll see logical comparison. Assignment operator we can see, right? Let's see the assignment operator first. Let's see the assignment operator first. Assignment operator is like there is a variable A which is 10 and there is another variable B. Now you want to give the value of B A to B. So what we will do is we will assign the value of A to B. Note that if we modify B, the value of A will not be modified. It is just like copy operator. The value of B, A is copied to B, right? So if we now if you print B, then it will print let's print A. Alright, let's see. Right, now the value of B and A both are 10. After I manipulated A to 12, the value of A is 12 but the value of B is same. So it's not like we have since we have assigned the value of A and B, the A and B are related. It's not like that. It's a copy of value from A to B, right? So that's the whole point. Let's jump to logical operator. I guess you have already know if else statement, right? If you don't know if else, then it will be not possible to teach me. Let's study the bitwise first. Now let's come to bitwise operator. Now there is a variable, for example the variable is 10, right? So in bitwise the variable is like the 10 is represented as 1010. All right, now what will happen if I shift it to the left 3 times? It's a left shift operator, right? Let's see what will happen. It is 80, right? I have already explained you, I guess, here, right? Not here, maybe, I don't know where. Yeah, so it's 80. since it's 1010 and we shift three positions left here, so this 1010 will be shifted to the left, three positions left. So 1010 and afterward three zeros. And since how this is how bitwise works, I guess you already know that these are basics, right? So it will shift to left three positions, and it's 2 raised to power 6 plus 2 raised to power 4, which is it. All right. So bitwise has an exponential effect, right? So now comes to the scope resolution operator. Now, all right, let's create a global variable. That variable is 12, right? This is the global variable. This is the global variable. And after that, this variable, let's say, declare this is, scope resolution, right? Now let's say I declared a variable num, right? The name of the variable is num, I guess, right? The name of the variable is 10. Now let's say the name is, what will happen? Will it catch 10 or 12? Let's see. It's catching 12, right? Now let's see. Let's say num. What will happen? I guess 10 and after that 12, right? So it's catching, it's picking the 10 number with the local scope, and after that with the global scope, because we have used scope resolution operator, right? So let's jump to the example. Yeah, this is the example, right? Let's use the line feed operator. I guess we have used the end line many times, right? Because see, after 10 we have used E and DL, right? So we'll see field width operator and the comparison operators later, right? So till then, see you.